Hello, everybody. We are live.
Good
Hi,
evening, good
João.
afternoon to some of you.
Yes, I guess we have some familiar faces over here. I can see Elias is here. Good afternoon, Elias. We have Michael, we have Mira, Christina. Welcome to this webinar. If you can, please let us know where you are from, where you are based. That would be fantastic. And today I'm with João, a good friend of mine. We've been working very closely for some quite some time, and it's really a pleasure, João, having you here for the first time, the first of many, that's for sure. And yeah, if you can, João, let us know a little bit about how you're feeling, how are you? You are based in Portugal as well, right?
Exactly. I'm from Portuguese parents. I was born and raised in France, in Paris to be more specific, and I moved to Lisbon 8 years ago. Where I decided to start a new chapter of my life and mainly to work as a mortgage worker in Lisbon. This function, when I arrived in 2016, was not really regulated until 2019, where I started at this time, and now joining for 2 years now. Spreadhunters, who are founded by Amandine and Bruno Souza. They are French as well, and they have some Portuguese roots, and they used to work in banking as well. I decided to join this team, and we have new members that came recently as
That's amazing. That's
well.
amazing. Yeah, pretty excited, really, João, to have this first webinar with you. It's such an important topic. You know, there's so many people who has some questions or some doubts about mortgage a property here in Portugal. How how's the bureaucracy, the requirements, and being able to share the word with so many good people over here, that will be fantastic.
Sure. When we started, just because I know there is a lot of sayings about how complicated it is to buy a property, but the process is basically smooth and really easy when you are assisted by the good team, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a mortgage worker, or even the real estate. This team and those people in the different sector are essential to make all the process through, whether it's for creating an if, whether it's for reading a promissory contract, or to assist all the process of financing, and as well the real estate, because this is a real partnership between these three sectors that make the deal a success.
That's right. It's a teamwork.
Exactly.
So yeah, I can see that there are people who are living here in Portugal already, just like Melanie, and there are also Julie in Famalicão, and also people that are in the United States, such as Michelle from New Jersey, Christian from Florida. Hi, Christian. And yeah, it will be really nice to share some knowledge with you guys. Hope that will be interesting for you. And I think now it's here in Portugal. It's 7:05 p.m. I guess we can start the presentation, João, if that's okay for you.
Sure, sure. I'm seeing as well several questions already. I see how interesting the subject is. I will try to, in my presentation, I'm seeing question around here to answer all the question. Otherwise, at the end of the presentation, of course, we will have this time to answer all the questions that I may not have asked. I answer the sorry during the presentation. Should we start, Victor?
Yes, so let me try to share. Oh, there you go. So the can you yeah.
I can answer all of it. Exactly. So in this older presentation, we will talk about several subjects. So we have four main chapters. The four main chapters are mainly to talk about residency and general info and some tips as well. Whether it's for who is not a resident in Portugal or just at the beginning of this process, what are the major steps they need to do, and for who they are, what possibly they have as a resident in Portugal. We'll talk about the different step and the different costs of a purchase when you're applying for a mortgage. We will see as well what kind of property or what kind of financing we can assist, whether it's for a land, refurbishment, apartment, and other situation. And finally, we will see if all the steps on the mortgage process, meaning that we will see every single step from the very beginning when submit the process to the deed at the notary. So, in terms of general information, so one of the first thing when you, whether you're resident or not, and you don't know the Portuguese legislation, one of my first advice is to be really well assisted. So please check with Viva, but they have a really good contact in terms of legal services, and they can really assist you for several services that are necessary, whether you buying with a mortgage or if you buy with your own funds. For example, the power of attorney, the creation of an IF. For who don't know what an IF number is, it's a fiscal number. In Portugal, for every services you need, whether it's for a phone, whether you're purchasing, whether you open a bank account, the NIF is essential because that will make you officially recognized um, by whatever institution is. Okay, the bank account is necessary when you will have to buy a property. The a Portuguese bank need to issue a bank check, which is the only way to pay for a deed. You have two different, or bank check or a visa check. And then, of course, the all legal parties are really important to do the due diligence of the property you want to purchase, to make all the negotiation for the promissory agreement, and as well to translate to the public deed, and as well to assist you for the final registration on the municipality. In terms of residency, just to talk about general information for when you're applying, it's for Portuguese and Europe, Portuguese citizenship, because you can be Portuguese and living abroad, and for all the European residents. So, in the major step to get for primary residency condition is to get an IF number as well, to get a certificate of residency. For the European, is pretty simple. You go to the Loja Cidadão. Loja Cidadão is administration where you can book an appointment. You go with your passport and your Portuguese address, and they will give you the certificate of residency. Uh, with those papers, you can perfectly buy a property as a primary residence and get up to 90% financing. I'm anticipating any question because mainly, probably, sir, some of you heard about the new measure for 100% financing. For now, it's not implemented, not before 2025. So for now, I don't have any further information, but we can obviously see the eligibility of your process. When you're not, I saw that we have a lot of North American in this presentation. Uh, for most of you, to get the NIF number is necessary. As non-European, you must be represented by generally or a lawyer or an accountant. Getting or your residency card or a visa, go with both, whether it's a D7 or a D7. Uh, but the thing is, as your first residency card is not permanent and temporary for 3 years, the bank may not consider the purchase as a primary residency. It's studied case by case. Okay, and obviously, whether you're European or non-European, you may be eligible for the NHR because they stopped this statute NHR and they're recreating a second version of it. I think we will probably have most yeah, more information by the end of the year or beginning of next year. Is
Just
there? Yeah,
if I can,
I was,
just very
I was about to ask if you want to add something.
yeah, no, it's no, just very quickly in regards to the documents that we have together to start the process of applying for a mortgage here. As João mentioned, the process may seem easy at the first glance, but unfortunately, here in Portugal, sometimes things are a little more complicated than what they seem. So having someone here in Portugal to help, that usually can speed up the process a lot. And of course, you don't want to lose time to get the best mortgage option. So it's important to have someone here. And also for the NHR, um, probably you've heard a lot of information about the closing of the program, and João is totally right. So the old NHR is not valid anymore. So there is one tax regime that allows people to come to Portugal and be taxed in a very good tax rate. But this one is kind of related to the person being a highly skilled professional. So this is the one that's in place nowadays. As Ron mentioned, there is more to come. They are always talking about replacing the old NHR with the new one, but unfortunately, we still have to wait for a while to see how it will be addressed in the end. Just a quick um, parenthesis. Sorry to interrupt, John.
No, no, no. Perfect. I was about to ask you if you had something to add. Thank you very much. So, what you should know about percentage of financing in Portugal when you're applying for a loan. So, if you're a permanent resident or a European resident or Portuguese citizenship, for primary residency, you can have up to 90% financing, meaning that, and I will talk about down payment and all you should consider in terms of down payment later, but it's 10% down payment plus tax. Okay, for a secondary residence, it's 20% down payment plus tax, and for an investment, depending of what kind of investments it is. So when I'm talking about investments and when you're buying to rent with an intention to rent, when it's or if the kind of investment is, for example, non-residential but a commercial, it can be up to 20 to 30% down. It's case by case, but we can easily defend 80% financing. But generally, as soon as we receive your documentation, we will be able to tell you, yes, I think 20% is possible, or no, I think it's better to put 30% down payment. Okay, for non-residents, so the bank, or for non-resident or temporary residents, uh, by default, the bank considers this is a secondary residency as long as you're residency card is not permanent, but it's case by case, obviously. Okay. For some citizenship, otherwise it's 20% down payment. Sorry. For other citizenship, depending of the risk, whether it's economic or the nationality, unfortunately, it goes from 30 to 50% down. Okay. Uh, okay. I'm trying to see at the moment the question at the same time, just to check if there is some question related to what I'm presenting. But no, so we can keep going. And the bad news is that some nationality uh, s- sometimes are not cannot apply for a mortgage due to the geopolitical context. Okay, it's possible that even if you have a nationality, but your income and bank accounts are from a country who are not blacklisted, of course, we can study the possibility. The only thing that we cannot guarantee is the compliance when you open your bank account. So sometimes the strategy is to open the bank account first and then after we apply. So how we can determine your budget? This is something that is really, really important. Sometimes when we think about down payment, we excluding the tax. Why? Because maybe in our own country we're not paying that tax, or the notary pay all the tax. So just to be sure, let's just sum up everything that you need to consider every time when you talk about down payment. Sometimes you can change completely a budget of a property. For example, the down payment. Um, a good question from David Marcelo Azevedo. If you are a Portuguese citizen and you want to you want to buy, but living abroad, of course, um, if you're sorry, if you're a Portuguese citizen but your partner, wife or husband is not, we consider that this is a primary residency because one of you is Portuguese. For but for others, depending as well if you're married or not. If you're married, it's easier to defend. So for the down payment, of course, you consider the percentage uh, of the property that you are or putting or uh, determining in terms of budget. For example, 10% if you apply for a 90% financing. Then after you have all the municipal tax. So I put the link here. This link will help you to calculate exactly how much you have to pay because it's determined by the purchase price. Then after you need to consider two different stamp duties. The first is based on the acquisition. It represents 0.8% of the purchase price. And the other stamp duty is based on the loan value. This this one is cheaper and is out at 6% of the amount that you're borrowing, and of as well what we call the closing costs for the mortgage registration, the appraisal, the commission, and we will talk to you about this different step later, and the notary fees as well. So just to give you an idea in terms of numbers, okay, so there is two different examples. Let's go for the secondary so you will understand as well. So here for a basic 250,000 euros property, you decide to put 50,000 euro. That represents 20%. So meaning that we're asking a 200,000 euros property. Some of you will see minimum expected appraisal value is because in Portugal there is two essential information that helps to completely approve your process. The first is the pre-approval, and I will talk about later when I will talk to you about this different step. And then as soon as you find the property, the bank needs to be sure that this property is a warranty enough to secure the loan that you're contracting. For that, They will place a mortgage on the future property, but for that they need to be sure to avoid any to be sure that the property can help in case you stop pay for the loan, and as well the all legal fees that brings to this process when you stop paying. So for that, they will require not all the time that the the, the loan value represents 70% when you're buying with 80% financing of the future appraisal. You're buying 250,000 euros. The property must be appraised of 285,714. I don't talk about the cents. Why that? Depending of the risk of the operation itself. Let's say that your debt ratio is pretty high, or your income are not completely declared, or because for example digital nomads, for some of you, uh, there are fiscal laws that help you to 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 not declare your income because you're staying 6 months here, 6 months here, 6 months here, and 6 months in another country. So for some of those country, you're not declaring, but you're still invoicing your clients, and we we can basically have 1 year traceable. But as long as you don't have any tax declaration, I'm not saying that all of the bank will accept it, but sometimes we can defend and demonstrate your income by showing all the invoices that you issued, and the bank statement to see the match between the income and the transfer you're receiving on your account. But as long as you're not able to show your tax declaration, you represent a risk. To let's say to balance the risk, the bank will require a higher LTV percentage. That's why, in that case, the property must be appraised higher than the purchase price. What do we finance? Where can we help you to finance in Portugal? So we can finance basically the the base, a house or an apartment. We can finance the refurbishment up to 80%. Okay. We can as well help you to finance land plus construction, and we can go up to 90% for primary residency. For a building, when it's essentially and only residential as an individual, for some with some institution, we can go up to 80%. Okay, and for non-residential, we let's say that you're finding some offices, but you want to buy it individually, you can we can finance up to 70%. There is only one bank, one of our partner that can help you on that. The major step of your project, the first very important thing is to build your app. So after our meeting that we will have together, um, I will determine what kind of documentation I will need from you, whether it's me or my colleagues, if you are with my colleagues, and to set everything up. We are doing the first analyze, so we're just seeing if we consider that this is possible or not. If it's possible, we can directly go and send it to the bank where we think your process has a great chance to be approved. Okay, but we are in the first step, pre-approval. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily need that you find a property. Let's say that you have a week, an entire week that we're coming in Portugal to visit properties. Just to be sure that you're doing the right move, strategically, we can already get, let's say, and start the process a month before or 2 weeks before you come to Portugal. And generally, pre-approval is between 5 working days and 5 to 10 working days. So if you want to be sure when you put a step in Portugal that you will get pre-approved, we can do that, and that also comfort you, or depending of how you want to proceed. But we can as well confirm with the pre-approval your budget. So with your real estate, that will be easier to find property that matches with your needs. As soon as we get the pre-approval, a pre-approval remains valid for generally 60 days. But during this time, you can open your account with the bank. So enjoy the visit during all the visits in Lisbon, in Lisbon, in Portugal. Sorry, I live in Lisbon. That's why it's automatic. When you come in Portugal, you will open your account. So for all the next steps, you don't necessarily need to be presentially here. You can let a POA, and your lawyer is representing you for the next step. Deed, the promissory contract. So your presence is not mandatory after, but for the opening account, this is essential and mandatory that you sign the opening account um, presentially. Then after, of course, you choose your property. And that moment, when you make an offer, this offer is accepted. Let's say that you have a competitor. The fact that you have on your hand the pre-approval will help you to better negotiate, or to be faster than your competitors. Because then we can launch the appraisal. It's generally 2 working days to book it, and 2 to 3 working days to get the report. The report is essential because after the appraisal, we can, and if the appraisal matches the bank requirements in terms of percentage, yes, we can issue the approval letter. This is the only document that you will receive officially from a bank. Generally, the bank never said anything for the pre-approval. So, but the approval letter states by law that the bank is following you. You will have a draft of the future contract that you sign on the deed. Okay. After and between, before the deed, of course, you need to get. So I will say for the Americans, because I know that life insurance is quite confusing. In Portugal, we call it life insurance, but actually it's a PMI. It's a protection mortgage insurance. So that protects you in case of death or disability, or both. Okay. Both are mandatory, but the minimum coverage. Um, and So the life insurance, for some of you, if you're not resident, some banks offer the exemption, not all of them. So we cannot guarantee for all the cases or all the process that the bank will accept any exemption. We will do our best, but because maybe you have a really good life insurance from your country, but if it's possible, if it's your for primary residency, I can already say that this is not possible because you're um, because this exemption, unless you're retired, and this is something that we did previous found recently. There is a possibility, but I don't think you can declare this property as your main residence. Okay. And finally, of course, the deed. The deed is the moment where you issuing the check. So it's important, if you have to put some personal funds to issue just one check, to do it with anticipation. But we are here generally to send you um, the, 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 the last the last expenses that you need to be completely relaxed the day of for the deed day. Okay, the deed can be done either with lawyer's entrance to the bank or a notary of your choice, as long as the notary has a protocol partnership of with the bank. Let's kill the urban legend as well, because maybe you heard a lot of things about how Portugal love variable rates. This is completely wrong. And the bank offered fixed, mixed, and fixed rates. So the variable, the mix is, let's say you having 10 years term, we can have a 5 years fixed rate, and the rest is flexible. Okay. See, if you're not comfortable with that, we can completely have a full fixed rate for the whole period. Okay. Generally, the term, so max term, they say 35. I put 35 because I knew that the audience were between 30 and plus. Sorry. Uh, so for that ages, generally we can all go over 35 years. Okay. When you're retired, there's in Portugal, you can't be over 75 years old when you finish the mortgage. But I'm saying for three partners with who we're working, there is a possibility to extend it up to 80 years, meaning that if you're applying when you're 70, we can have a 10 years term uh, in term of mortgage. Okay, the early repayment, and this is important for uh, who who, let's say, waits. I know that some of you, if you have a private pension, the commission, if you take the money out from your private funds, you have to wait a certain age. So in that case, for example, the mixed rate is pretty good because let's say that you need 3 years during the time that your private pension can be unlocked without any commission or with less commission. In that case, we just freeze the three next year, and after 3 years, you can decrease the early repayment because early repayment is always penalized in Portugal. When it's a fixed rate period, let's say that you have a full fixed rate, and then you decided to sell because you want to buy another property, it's 2% no matter what. When it's a variable one, it's 0.5%. So strategically, if you know that you're going to receive, I don't know, a big bonus, you're selling your property in the United States or the country you're from, this is a good option as well. Okay. The rates, just to give a really, really, really short words about that, for now in Portugal are really attractive. For 5 years fixed rates, it goes from 2.65 to 2.7, no, 2.80. Okay, for 3, 4, 5 years fixed rate. And for a 25 to 30 years fixed rate, it goes from 2.99 to 3.55. So it's depending, and this is why it's important to always have the first meeting with you to completely talk and know exactly what is your strategy, your project, and find really the mortgage that is associated to your project. Why do so? Victor was talking about how long we were working for and why we are really, we are pretty aligned in term of value. Is that we recognize that whether it's Favor Up or Spreadhunters. So Spreadhunters, just a quick reminder. Sorry, I'm changing subject. Has been founded 4 years ago by Bruno and Amandine. We are all experienced, whether it's from banking or a mortgage broker. I am 10 years a mortgage broker. Bruno and Amandine as well. Amandine comes from the bank, and Bruno was a mortgage broker. And when we first talked with Viva Up, we saw that some values were super common in terms of human values. We are not helping or just dealing with a case, we're helping people. The excellency is always trying to find the best way to make all the process smooth. It's a really common value. The experience and another one is multicultural team. As Spreadhunters, we speak, at least three different languages, and I think this is as well the same for Vivre Up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
At least I get. Yeah. I just to compliment. Sorry, Joan.
no.
Um, we've
Mm,
we've talked before about this. We both work with people who are moving to a new country. They are buying their property here in Portugal, and we do take this into consideration to provide the best services, the best experience that we can provide. So it's not only about numbers. Of course, we that's why one of the first steps to engage with us is to have this introductory meeting to better understand the needs from each other. And I guess we are pretty aligned with Europe and Spread Hunters in this regard.
great. Thank you very much. So, for me, I think I gave you, I will not give you, whether you need other information, of course, you have the possibility to review these videos, but feel free as well to book an appointment um, through Vivre with us. We will be pleased, whether it's me, Levi, Antonio, Bruno, Amandine, Sarah, and Rui. Um, we are all here to answer your question. I will try to answer all the questions. There is a really good question from Elliot about delay simplex. Delay simplex, so the law simplex, it's a new law that is supposed to make all the process easy without license or with a digital license. Unfortunately, this cannot apply for now for banks. Why? Because even if the law say the bank doesn't have any possibility to check that this is completely confirmed. They just have a license number, but nothing is explained completely. So it happened once, but really once, but it was for administrative reason. It was really exceptional. Otherwise, the lay simplex, Elliot, unfortunately, cannot apply when a mortgage is on the table. Um, so I probably so they caught up the new law. They pretty caught up the new law. It's just that they're not authorized because the risk department is not authorizing, and the legal as well. So I think this is not completely. We will need at least 1 to 2 years with the new development because the new development are concerned, and for some of them we can just have the information because it's a new project and it goes with the all charges, enfin, en français on dit cahier des charges, sorry for my English. um, and I hope this answered the question. So I think in your case, yes, the license is necessary. Pavel, if one is working on B2B contracts with another company, how long should the history of partnership last to prove the incomes to the bank? So, B2B contract, I will try to answer in the general way because I'm not sure I understand the B2B contract. If you are employed, so it in the United States, this notion is confusing because when you apply for when you work for a company, you work for a company until either they fire you or you quit. In Portugal, we have several kind of contracts, and this kind of contract sometimes just say that we need you for 6 months. Maybe you have it in the United States, but this contract just say that okay, we just need you 6 months. They can renew it twice until it gets completely permanent. So the notion of temporary and permanent is pretty important. When you are a freelancer and you have a contract uh, with a company, so generally it's a year contract for when you're selling your services as a freelancer. Uh, it's case by case. It will depend of the kind of activity you do. Generally, IT is on the top list. Web developing, marketing, this kind of activity is pretty good. But if you didn't have, let's say, a tax return last year, you just started, we need at least 6 months. Not all of the bank will accept it, but we need at least 6 months of income. Um, Mira, nice to meet you, Mira. My mother turned 75 in 2025. When she moved to Portugal, was she eligible for a mortgage to buy a house? I wasn't clear. Sorry, I was not really clear. So, in your particular case, if your mother is turning 75, it means that when she applies, she will have only a 5 years loan to buy a house. It's not possible in another way. If your mother, I don't know, if in your case, if you want to buy it for your mother, this is possible. I mean, we can place you um, as the main borrower, and we place your mother as a warrantor if we want a higher term. This is a possibility if as well the process is eligible. So this is a particular case that we need to, and I will be more than happy to answer and see what is the possibilities for your mother. Leslie, Nicholas, and good morning. No, good evening. In HR, a D7 or a D8 visa, do these have any effect on the mortgage process? No. It's pretty fair in Portugal, the way all the financial institution, and also because this is uh, uh, this is just equity. Everybody. So of course, some cases, let's say, I don't know how to answer correctly to this question. Whether you're Portuguese, American, rich, or I mean, very high salary or really standard salary. Sorry if I hope I didn't say anything wrong, but the bank is not doing any differences. The differences will be maybe on some advantages you can have on time in terms of product, but this is purely and simply financial, operational with the bank for the day-to-day use. How long does it take to go through the entire process of buying a house? So the average is 45 days. Okay, but then there are other information or other criteria that can or extend this term or reduce it. If the first thing that, and I completely will maintain my position with that, is whether you're ready to buy with your own funds or you're applying with a mortgage, a promissory contract is mandatory. The promissory contract close and block freeze the price and the condition, but both parts negotiate. So some sellers can say, I need 90 days because I need to find my property in the same time, or you want to have 90 days. Basically, this term is combined, and of course, if the mortgage process let it, we can do it in 30 days. But this is really, 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 really exceptional. And generally, 30 days is when I consider 30 days when you already have your pre-approval in your hand when you're visiting a property. But yeah, it takes 45 days to make an average. How long does it go? I think I answer all the question. Feel free to answer to ask other question. I'm still here.
João, if I may, very quickly,
Mhm.
um, I guess we did go over all of the questions,
Mhm.
and just two new ones. So, is
Yes, sir.
mortgage the- you want? Yeah, I can talk later. You can go. You can ask those two questions. So, first one is mortgage tax deductible in Portugal, and yeah, is there a penalty if you pay mortgage off
Mm.
early?
Yes, yes. Um, so for Barry, Barry, so mortgage taxes deductible. I will. So this is a really fiscal question. So I will answer with the knowledge I have, but this information, it's important that you confirm it with an accounting. But for the knowledge I have is for a primary residency, deduct um, you can deduct the interest on your tax declaration. Beware if you're doing the construction plus refurbs on land plus construction, only one of the line can be deductible. So you so the construction cannot, only the land. Okay, but I think, but it's only for primary residency. For the other situation we saw, secondary investment, it's not possible. I'm pretty sure of that. But of course, please confirm it with an accounting. But I'm 85% sure of what I said. Is there any penalty, Christina? Hi, penalty if you pay mortgage off early? Yes. So don't hesitate, Christina, to review the video. I talked during like 5 minutes. Maybe it was not clear, so let's do it again. When you're paying earlier your mortgage, it's like you break a contract. So of course there is a penalty. When it's a fixed rate period, it's 2% of the remaining capital, meaning example, or you're injecting 100,000 euros, that would be 2,000 euros penalty. But when it's a variable rate period, it's 0.5%, meaning if that's the same case for 100,000 euros, it's 500. Okay. So if you know that and you know exactly that you're not keeping the mortgage for more than 2 to 3 years, yes, the 2 to 3 years fixed rate is what you need. But because after the 3 years, you can reduce significantly the penalty. Greg Kopta, hi. Monthly mortgage payment in the US include amounts for property insurance and property taxes. Is that the same in Portugal? No. In Portugal, we're, I mean, on your bank account statement, you will never see just one amount englobing the insurance and the the and the monthly payment. Some banks, not all of them, they will they will go up to tell you exactly what they take you: interest, capital, insurance, home insurance, and that's it. I hope I answer correctly your answers, but because as well for the life insurance we have the possibility um, to subscribe with another company. We have a major partnership with MetLife, which one of our trustful partners, and Real Vida, our second partners. I often see properties on Idealista that are removed and then come back. This could make it harder to find ideal property. Um, so this is a good question, actually. I We don't know because we're sometimes it's because they make an offer, so this offer can be done by cash. So the risk is pretty the same. What is important is when you're seeing properties on Idealista, for example, it's important to see and check where was the first promotion of the property. If this is more than a year, there's something going wrong with the property, and you need to check why, whether it's because the price is too high, or maybe there's something in the apartment, let's say an area that is not legalized. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes not. Sometimes it makes a difference, sometimes not. So it's important to call the seller or the real estate, uh, a real estate that you trust, and with someone from is someone with who you have a really trustful relationship, and to check why it has been removed and come back. um, Sometimes, yes, the financing fell through. For example, when the appraisal is not enough to require the bank condition, sometimes it goes it doesn't go through for many reasons. Either the engineer forgot, or is not really fair. In that case, we ask for a second opinion, of course, on your charge, but we never take the decision without your consent. If you disagree and you say no, this is not possible, what we do before launching an appraisal is to tell you exactly, I'm pretty concerned, or no, I think this is the price. I'm not concerned with the price, but we tell you that always before, because we will see the documentation, the localization of the property, the typo, if it's pretty recent or pretty old, if we need refurbs, or if there is any, I don't want to say illegal because this is a really strong word, but not legalized area. For example, typical last floor of a building, you have you see a duplex. You need to check that the first floor of the duplex is integrated in the land registry, because sometimes the attic is traditionally attributed to the last floor's apartment, because the other apartment doesn't have they don't have any access to this attic. So this is an extra area, but this area is not legalized. So sometimes it makes a difference of 20 to 30 square meters. So yes, this is a case where you can have uh, about appraisal, and that break the financing. Um, but no, I don't think that will make it harder. Where are the best? Where are the best legitimate resources to look for property for sale? Mira, I'm not sure I understand this question. Can you be more specific, please? I'll go back directly to Leslie. Nicholas, is it correct that there is no real estate agent we ask on behalf of the buyer? No, no, it's no, no. The agent acts. No, this is a really hard profession. First, um, so and generally, for many of them, they're pretty in. I mean, they're pretty work in team. For example, Remax, they work in team. Someone is representing the seller, someone is representing the buyer. But most of the agents work for their clients. Uh, Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, Mira. So, and I don't think they only act for the seller. If you have any doubt about it, that's why it's really important that you get a lawyer. If you feel that your interest is not the agent interest, Be sure, check with your lawyer that you're going in a good way. Okay? But most of the real estate are professional. But I mean, it's I think it's in every profession. You have good workers and bad workers. What is important for you is really to choose the person, if you're working with a hunter, that is uh, really understanding your project. And as soon as you have this trustful relationship, the rest will go through and easily. And for Mira, the question was what and not why. Sorry. So what are the best legitimate resources to look for property for sale? If you look for general, um, Idealista is the most basic one. But then after you make a simple um, Google research, I think Viverop as well has some partnership with some real estate agents that they know the fiability, they're serious. So I suggest that you check on their on the website and ask to get in contact with one of them, because Vivrog always choose trustful partnerships to be sure that they're providing the best service to the to their audience. A blue bank. Did I say a blue bank?
I guess it's here in Portugal is considered that established like bank that are known for their like trustworthy and being in place for a long time. If I'm not mistaken, this
I'm sorry, I'm confused. To be honest, this is the first time. What is the blue bank? Let's see, maybe I'll check. And the question is, okay, I
maybe
maybe I misunderstood. Yes, did I say that, Melanie?
also very quickly, Joan, while
Yeah.
Melanie
Mhm.
answers you. I will just share this. She thought so,
Oh yes, yes.
and
Thank you.
just also correct me if I'm wrong, João.
Mhm.
But I just bought my house here in Portugal, and
Mhm.
I know that sometimes it is uh, there's a relatively big workload when you have to deal with so many banks
Mhm.
and represent the interest of your clients. And it's all about relationships. I understand that you have many banks that you have relationships, so
Yeah.
you know where to address the your client's request, because people may think that, oh, I can do it myself, I can go directly to the bank, and there's no need to have a middle person to help me with this process. But I can say that that's from my perspective, that's not the best approach, because not only the banks to go and you have a close relationship with them, they may give you a
Sure.
special condition if you talk to
Sure.
them, right? And you will
Sure.
be paid by the bank, just to let them know how to proceed. If
Sure.
maybe just to talk about it a little bit.
Sure. So you're saying something good about the fact that sending processes to several banks. This is absolutely not the way we work. Generally, as soon as we receive the first documents, or even before, with the first meeting we have with our clients, let's say we know halfway that where we're sending the process. As soon as we receive the documentation, we know exactly where we're sending, because every bank are looking for a certain profile, or are offering something that others are not offering. For example, the possibility to borrow up to 80 years old. This is not all the financial institutions. So if I know that I need this time, I know that I will not lose my time with banks that are not offering a dedicated offer. And the thing as well is all the relationship we have with the banks, we are not working with a lot of branches per per financial institution. Not that we are not uh, we don't work to make preferences, but this relationship, because I was doing the same in Paris, this relationship, when you have a really good relationship and a good strategy and a good and you work as a team, uh, we know that everything is going faster. So yes, we know that where we're sending, the bank is really the good bank for our clients. Yep. So
Okay,
now,
I guess.
yeah. Well,
Um,
well, let's answer the very last questions.
okay.
Do we work with the real estate Zoom? Zoom is, I think, belongs. It's related to Keller Williams. So they're very professional, but I think they have their own financial institution. We are not related to any. In fact, we have protocol of partnership, of course, but Spreadhunters, we only do mortgages and mortgage insurances to avoid any conflict of interest. But yes, we work with Zoom. I have the opportunity to work with them, and they're really professional. Idealista is much like Zillow in the US. Yes, I agree. Who pays the mortgage broker fee? This is a really good question, Christina. So I'm happy to say that the whole process doesn't cost you anything because so we say it in Portuguese, vinculada. So we are registered as mortgage broker who can work and represent several institutions. Our license can be consultable on the internet. So by law, we are not allowed to ask you any fee. So we are paid by the financial institution where we are working with. Obviously, if the partnership is registered and if you go to the end of the process, but never before, only after. And we are not asking you anything. And thank you,
That's
Lucy.
it, my friend. It was really, really interesting. It's not always that we reach to the 1 hour uh, timeline, but it was such an important topic. So many questions, so many interesting questions. And if you have any other question, you can certainly address them to João. Here is his email, and I mean we've been working together for so long, and there's no one better than him and his company to help you with the whole process of getting your mortgage. And I would like also to thank you, João, for being here to spread your word, your knowledge with us. And I'm pretty sure that those who are interested in buying a property, they will ask you for your advice.
Of course, thank you very much.
Thank
If you have, feel free to send an email if you need to book an appointment as well. I think there is a possibility to book an appointment through Viva Up as well.
Yes, certainly. You can come to us. As I mentioned, we have this close relationship. You can come through us, and we will put you in touch with João as well.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you
everybody.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you, João. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Have a
Have a
great
nice
evening.
day. Great
Bye.
evening. Bye.